Biro Inyan. It's mitzvahs Hashem are called many names, right? We're continuing the mimer of Hashem Liba Ozrai in Kuntresim Aleph that the previous Rebbe said in 1927. Kamo Eidos Chukim Mishpatim. There are mitzvahs, there are three types of commandments. There are commandments like Shabbat, that this was a letter to, this is a sign, to the Jewish people. Sukkot is also a sign. We should know that God took us out of Egypt and He surrounded us with clouds of glory. Mishpatim. Those commandments, there's religious commandments. Edut, they testify. Then there are mishpatim. Mishpatim, they are commandments that are logical. Like stealing, robbing, cheating. Oh.
Hi.
What happened?
I overslept.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's all right. We still love you. Fix your coat.
Let me just take off my hat and let's run to
Let's get into it. Let's just get right into. That's right. What? They had last night. They gave prizes for the boys in the yeshiva, in the yeshiva Gedola, that they won because they learned and they took tests. So somebody gave like prizes of $100 and $50 and $10. So they made a whole meal out of it and the whole thing. They did it last year also. It's very nice. I wasn't here. Lefi, because it says now there are commandments which are called chukim. Chukim. Lefi, because shasatan va'umot ha'olam, because the devil and the non-Jews, monim et Yisrael, they prevent the Jews from doing it. They try to prevent the Jews from doing these commandments. Lo more and saying, Ma mitzvah zot lachem. What is this insanity? You can't boil milk and meat together? Come on, that's a sin in your religion. What possible harm does that do to anybody? Boiling.
Actually, it is known that if you have meat and milk together, it actually isn't that good for you.
Health to eat. Okay, we're talking about boiling. Just boiling is forbidden. In Judaism
that
is.
Would lead up to eating it.
Okay, good answer. Eating is not good, right? But there's nothing wrong. Let's say in Judaism, if you want to eat a bag of sugar, want to eat a bag of sugar? Eat it. Nothing could be worse for you than to eat a bag of sugar, right? If a person really likes sugar, it's true. You're supposed to watch your health, yes. But there's nothing wrong with taking a teaspoon of sugar. But to take a teaspoon of milk that was cooked with meat, even just the milk, forget about the meat. No meat. You cook, God forbid, milk with meat, right? You cook milk with meat. A non-Jew, you light the fire, a non-Jew cooks milk with meat. No sin has been done, right? You lit the fire, it's okay. He cooks it. You just take the milk, not the meat. Take the milk, and there was 1/59th of that mixture was meat. You had 59 ounces of milk and 1 ounce of meat. You take a teaspoon of that milk, you eat that milk, did a sin. Come on, I mean, what possible evil could that be? What could be wrong with doing that? And like I said, listen, the fact is it's forbidden even to cook it together. You can't cook it. Not allowed to cook it together. You're not allowed to plow with a donkey and a cow together. That's a donkey and a cow. What are you, a maniac? A donkey and a cow together? What an evil thing to do, right? It's a sin. What could possibly be wrong with that, right? What's wrong with it? Doesn't make any sense. A lady's husband goes to war, and he doesn't come back. Happened to a lot of people in the Holocaust. Happened. The people in the Holocaust, they got separated. And the lady doesn't know where her husband is. She has whether she waits for 10 years, 15 years. Nothing happens, no testimony. She gets married. They have children. Her husband comes back. All the children are mamzers. What's a mamzer? A mamzer is a person that cannot technically get married to a Jew. And if he does, all of his children are mamzers. No, that makes no sense. Says, that's right. Doesn't make any sense. That is one of the commandments in the family of commandments called chukim that make no sense. It doesn't testify anybody on anything. It's not logical. It doesn't help society, huh? I think maybe sit over here and not.
It does make sense.
Yes.
Because what you're saying is, okay, this guy goes off to war, and his wife doesn't know what happened. She assumes he's dead, and she marries another man and has 2 kids, right?
Right.
It makes sense that their moms are, because also if before a woman can get married, they have to have proof or something that shows that they're not together or that he's dead or whatever.
Right.
If she didn't have that proof, then how did she get married again?
So she did a sin. How are the children affected? Why should the children be affected? That the children are moms for the rest of their life? And not only that, this lady, she didn't hide anything for anybody. She didn't hide anything. She just said, listen, 80% of the people in the Holocaust, in the concentration camps, they died. And my husband was one of those people, and he didn't come back. If he would be alive, for sure he would try to get in contact with me. For sure he would at least send a sign, something, right? Little did she know that he had lost his memory or he went insane from what he saw, and he was wandering around the streets or whatever, and all of a sudden he came back 20 years later. And he comes to the wedding of one of the kids, and the child is a mamzer, and the children that they have are mamzers. They can't get married, you have to annul the marriage. That makes no sense. There are a lot of laws in Judaism that are called chukim, and they make no sense. On the other hand, there are also laws that do make sense. The laws that don't make any sense, why don't they make any sense? Because they come from God. That also makes no sense. The fact of the matter is all the commandments in the Torah really are chukim. I mean, it really makes a difference to God if you kill somebody, if you don't kill. Why should it make any difference to God? And there's sometimes when you can kill people. If you're in a war, you're allowed to kill people. And even more, there's even punishments of death in the Torah where you have to kill people. Helpless people, you have to kill them. A person purposely smoked a cigarette on Shabbos and is punishable by death, right? It's almost impossible to kill him because there had to be witnesses and he had to admit.
But wouldn't there have to be a judge to prove it?
Yes, there has to be a judge and there has to be witnesses. Fix your collar.
I will. Go on.
There has to be a judges and there has to be witnesses and the person has to be warned and he has to say, yes, I know, and that's why I'm doing it, and he has to do it immediately after he's warned, etc.
What if he does it out of self-defense? Could he get bail?
Self-defense is different. It's extenuating circumstances. If he's done related to self-defense, then there's nothing wrong with killing somebody if it's in self-defense.
Does there also have to be a Sanhedrin, which means also a temple?
Even before the second temple was destroyed, there was no more death penalty anymore.
Okay, but if for a death penalty, let's say there would have to be a...
I have to look and see. I don't think there has to be a Sanhedrin. No.
Capital case? It's a big deal?
I forget. It's the first Mishnah in Sanhedrin. How many people you need to kill somebody? And I don't think it's 72. I think it's 23, I think. Well, look, we'll see. Not important. Let's go. Anyway, we're talking now about commandments that don't make any sense. And like I'm saying, really all the commandments don't make any sense. There is no other religion in the world that has commandments. No other religion has a thing like that called commandments. God himself told me to do this. God himself. This person told me to do it. He was inspired by God. Right? God himself said that there's no commandments. There's nothing. They have customs, they have rituals, but they have no commandments. There's no such thing. Only in Judaism is there such a thing as commandments. God himself commanded us to put on tefillin. God himself commanded us to put to keep Shabbat. God himself. Lefichach kasav bo chuka. Therefore, it is called a chok. Gezerei imilafanai. God said it is a decree in front of me. Ve'ein lecha reshut laharher achareha. And you don't try to make sense out of it. Don't try to make sense out of it. You start making sense out of it, it won't work. Like what you said, it's not healthy to eat milk and meat together. So they discover what somebody said, well, because pork has trichinosis. They used to have worms in it. Nowadays, there's no trichinosis. They treat it, there's nothing. So it's permissible to eat.
Biologically, it's a very clean meat now.
Comes along a scientist and he says it is very healthy. One of the most healthy things in the world is to eat milk cooked with meat together. One of them comes along a scientist. For sure somebody's going to come along.
Balanced diet.
Right? Balanced diet, nothing more is the yins and the yangs. You get nothing better than that. Milk and meat better. So it's okay to eat it? Right?
The Gentiles it maybe really
The doctor says if you want to improve your voice, then you have to eat milk cooked together with meat, right, to improve your voice. You can't do that. But it's for me. It'll improve my voice. I'll make a living. I'll be famous. Too bad. Can't do it. V'zot hi avodat adam. This is the service of man. Asher kiyum mitzvot sichlit, that the commandments that he does, even logical commandments, you will be, see where we are, last word on the line, fourth line from the bottom. Will be, see, last word on the line, fourth line. What is this abbreviation? B'kabbalat ol, accepting on himself the yoke. What does it mean, accepting on himself the yoke? If you've ever seen, it's pretty hard to see in New York or a place like this. I guess maybe they have these horse carriage rides in New York City. They have the carriage rides, or something like that. If you want a horse to pull a wagon, you put a yoke on him. A yoke. They have a harness they put in his mouth, and they have stirrups, whatever it is, and they have a yoke. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's a yoke. They put this thing over him, and it attaches him to the driver. That's the yoke. Now, a horse on his own is a horse. What's a horse? What does a horse do? What horses do, right? You leave horses. You ever see horses running around wild in the tundras in Russia, somewhere in the west of America? There's no such thing as horses running around. If people didn't grow horses, didn't raise horses, there would be, the population of horses would drop drastically in America and the world. It would drop that. But at least the horses would be free. They could do what they want. Or what does a horse want to do? Act like a horse. If you take a horse and you attach him to a wagon, the horse can actually draw people around, and they can take people. Nowadays not. Now they have cars. But I was in India, in India, Thailand. These places, they really use oxes over there. They really use oxes to draw carts. That's a means of transportation. Right, a means of transportation. And people have an ox, big, huge oxes. Amazing, right? And the oxes are tame. They have horns and everything. And they did nothing. Walking down the street, you see this huge ox with horns in it, drawing a wagon. The ox is now benefiting man. And because it's benefiting man, as man benefits the ox. He gives the ox to eat. He protects the ox from wolves, from getting run over by a car, from running over cliffs. He raises the oxes. So it says that's called taking on yourself the yoke. Taking on yourself the yoke means you go out of your own natural, selfish, animal self, and you attach yourself to the creator of the universe. How do you do this? By the commandments. Now, a lot of people will say, not me. I have my own life. I'm going to live my own life. I want to be like an ox. Better to be a free ox than to be a harnessed ox and drag people around, things like that. I don't want this higher dimension of purpose in the world to help people. I want to be an ox and be a natural ox. Go for myself. If there's other oxes that want to help me, no problem. Right? But I'm not going to do this thing with people, getting involved with people. What for? It says, of course people can say that. I don't want to get involved with God. I want to be myself. I'm going to live my own life. No higher dimensions. Says the Rebbe, you've got your choice. You can, if you want to, go up to a higher dimension of reality, and that is by doing the commandments with Kabbalat Ol. By putting a yoke on yourself, I am yoking myself to the creator of the universe. What's the benefit that you get out of that? Truth. I'm going to go to heaven? No, I don't know. It's not my problem. At least you get truth. You're doing what God says truth. That's a chok. That makes no sense. That's Judaism. That's the essence of Judaism. But on the other hand, we can say, listen, God creates the whole world. God provides for everything. He's pretty good. I mean, God also creates me. And He keeps my respiratory system and my circulatory system, my endocrine system, and my whatever it says. All these systems He's keeping going in me and all these other creations. So God knows what He's doing. Maybe I should let Him. I mean, He's good. God is not doing all these things just to torture people. That's what we believe. You can say the otherwise also. You say, listen, I'll do His commandments, and I'm sure that God will do what's the best for me. What's the best? It might be things that I don't want to do. It might be the opposite of what I want. But nevertheless, that's what it means. Kabbalat Ol, Davka. Kamo a mitzvah shem chukim. Just like the commandments which are called chukim. Dahainu, mitzvahs she'em musagim al pi seichel, the commandments which are logical. Okay, Herschel, hine zeh shemakayim, a person who does it, Eino lefi haseichel. When you do commandments, if you do a commandment, you don't kill somebody because God says. You don't commit adultery because God says. You don't steal because God says. If so, even though these things are logical and they are necessary for the sustenance of the sustaining order, law and order, but you're not doing it because of logic. It's not because ki im lihiyoto mitzvot Hashem. It's the commandment of God, al pi Torah, according to the Torah. V'chein b'kol davar of davar, and every single thing. V'gam b'nyani olam, and also in matters of the world. Yeh davar ahu nimdad v'nishkal eitzel adam, by a person, al pi medirat v'seichel Torah, according to the Torah. You're a businessman, right? You make money. You know how many businessmen there are in the world? Billions. Businessmen. But I'm a businessman that believes in God. I do everything according to God. Look at all these businessmen that succeed. They don't believe in anything. They're total atheists. They do all sorts of not good things in their own personal life, and they make money. Wouldn't you like to make money like that? Of course I would. So be like them. No way. No way. If God wants me to make money, then the money is going to be clean money, kosher money, godly money. Better to have $1 of kosher money than $1 million of not kosher money.
What's not kosher money?
Not kosher money means that you made it by not keeping Shabbos, by not being an honest person. You made it by tricking people. You made it by lying, scamming. Right? You can do it. There's a lot of people that do it and they don't get caught. They don't get caught. Right? They have big houses. They be successful. But in the end, somehow or other, it turns around on them. But we can hope. What can we do?
There's an expression on Wall Street. Money earned is sweet. Money unearned is twice as sweet.
That's right. Mayim ganuvim nimtako, it says. What? If you didn't earn it, in other words, if you cheated and made money, that's twice as sweet.
Yeah, it shows the sickness of Wall Street.
Sure. Just think how good it feels. Imagine how good it feels to steal money from somebody. Here you have $1 million laying out. Some people have to work their whole lives to make $1 million. Here you see $1 million is laying out, right? A person is walking down the street, he has a bag, it's got $1 million and he faints. Right? And you look around and you see that there's no, you cover over your face so there's a video, a camera. You're looking out your window, you see there's nobody. You run out in the street, you take the bag and you run away. Right? Nothing. It's a good feeling. I think I told you about this. It was very interesting. I saw in the video that they tried an experiment. They put a guy on the street standing in front of a bus stop with a $100 bill. He had glasses like he was blind. And he was standing there and he's saying, "Excuse me, can you change this $10 bill? I have to go on the bus. I haven't got $10. And it was a $100 bill.
This was in Israel or
Oh, so they did it in America and all sorts of countries, and nobody told them, "Hey, that's a $100 bill." Nobody. Some people just grabbed the money and ran away. Even if it was a $10 bill, they would have run away. Right, there was two guys. Everybody else said, "Oh, sure," and they gave him, tens, and they took the money. Right? They did it all over the world. Interestingly enough, they did it in Israel, and not one person did it. Not one person. Interesting. Everybody said, "My friend, that's a 100 shekel note. Put it in your pocket." Maybe there was one person that did that in America. Maybe there was one person. I think there was one person. In Israel, everybody said, "My friend, that's a $100 shekel note. That's not a 10 shekel note. Put that in your pocket. Here, how much do you have to get on the bus? Here, take the money, go on the bus." People gave him money, or people gave him change for 100. Right? But every person said, "What are you talking about? It's not 10 shekels, it's 100 shekels." In other words, the feeling to make money dishonestly is good. It's a good feeling. But the only thing is there's an opposite feeling. I'm making this guy feel bad. Right? How can I steal money from him? Right? How can I steal money? Then you have the thing of stealing money from the government. The government doesn't need it. It's a big problem. It says don't steal. You're not supposed to steal. Right? It doesn't make any difference from who. Like Jackie Mason's joke. Why did Robin Hood steal from the rich and give to the poor? He said because the poor didn't have any money. If they had money, he would have stolen from them also. Only people that had money were the rich ones. What about things that are not forbidden and they're not permissive? They're not forbidden and they're not a mitzvah. Making money. Okay, Herschel. These things are called optional things. Or even things that human intelligence agrees to them. Or even obligates you to do. Next page. He won't do it. Ki'im kasher techila shokelum. He weighs them. Heitiv mishkal Torah. The Torah is here to make the world a holy place. Imagine if all the tourists came to Israel and they saw that everyone was dressed modestly, everyone was friendly, everyone was honest, right? The foods, it was all only kosher foods, right? Everybody, all the men were putting tefillin on. They say, why are you doing this? God said. I mean, you're doing it to go to heaven? Maybe. I mean, but God said. Why are you eating only kosher food? God said. Why are all the stores closed on Shabbos? God said. All of a sudden the non-Jews say, well, who is this God? What is this God of the Jews? Oh, God, He creates the world. He creates you too. Creates everyone. God is really good. Creates everything. The whole world will start to think, that's a pretty good God, you know. You have to go to church. Which church? You don't have to go to church. No churches. Forget about the churches. God is everywhere. God creates you. He's good. Just do what God says. What does He do? What do you want? What does He want? Don't kill, don't steal. That's pretty easy. Yeah, that's what you think. Until you want to kill somebody, road rage, until you want to steal somebody else's wife, right? Then all of a sudden you see that it's not so simple. Okay, I'll try it. Right? The whole world would be a different world. All of a sudden they'd realize that there's God. And what's the point? The point is there really is God. God really does create everything. That's the fact. He can only be perceived by what's called emunah. And that's what we have to bring into every minute of our lives. That a person, then your life is a happier life. It's a life that has more of a purpose to it. Even, God forbid, a person is in Auschwitz, right? He can think, what does God want from me now? What does He want me to do? He wants me to live. He wants me to exist, right? He wants me not to give in to these evil people that hate God. He wants me not to be like them. Not to let them influence my life at all. Right? These are evil people. Why God lets evil go? I don't know. I don't understand it. But He does. I'm not going to be part of it. He says that's called Kabbalat Ol. That's called serving God above understanding. And that's what the essence of a Jew is. That's the essence of a Jew's life. Especially how he does the commandments. And we're going to see from the Rebbe that these commandments, those are the helpers. We're going to see at the end of the mimer, as we're going to learn, God willing, tomorrow.